Andrew Haug here for AndrewHaug.com, Australia's only dedicated 24/7 rock metal radio station. And as my memory serves me correctly, I think the last time I spoke to this lad was probably 2002, possibly 2003 on the Echo Brain album. And boy, the years do fly, but again, we always remain the same and still dedicated to the cause of heavy music. We do have none other than Mr. Jason Newsted on the line to talk to us about his new band, NEWSTED, the future, and everything to do with heavy metal music. G'day, Jason. Welcome to AndrewHaug.com.
Thanks, Andrew. Good to talk to you again, brother.
Yeah, likewise. And it's great to, A, have some new music from you, and B, see you actually back out there full swing. How does it feel now?
I feel young again. Like you were saying, the years go by and I just keep getting younger all the time. So that's the music, the heavy metal music, right, is my fountain of youth, like it is with maybe a lot of us. And that's where I feel again. I'm 19 in my heart again. Enough time has passed since the other stuff, since the other bands and all the other happenings, that I feel a newness and an innocence to this. So very, very happy to be playing this music again.
I find that a lot of people, especially I've known over the years too, who sort of drop off from the scene, age rather quickly, and then realise, damn, I need my, antidote again, and they obviously jump right back into heavy music. And sometimes some of them who jump right back in can be a little bit disappointed because they're expecting it to be the way it was, when, of course, things do change, as you know. Now, with yourself, of course, just jumping right back in, we know technology's changed and things like that. Has it been a bit of an eye-opener for you, especially going the whole sort of DIY approach now and having everything sort of pretty much in your control?
Oh, yeah, the changes are definitely a bit to adapt to, being so new to it in that way. But, I ducked myself into the underground pretty much right after we spoke last. After the Echo Brain release was, it was a worldwide thing, and then I did the couple of Voivod albums that we released worldwide too, but it was pretty much in the underground. So I kept the music alive the whole time. We kept playing Papa Wheelie shows and doing all my projects with my boys in Sepultura and Devin Townsend, all those cats like that. We keep the music going and keep our chops up. So I never ducked out of it in that way. But coming back into it in the real world, it's been 10 years since I was out on tour with Ozzy for Ozfest 2003. And so just think about all the stuff that has transpired since that time. There's a few things that haven't changed, thank God, like having to take the music to the people, person-to-person, human exchange like it's supposed to be in rock and roll, volume crushing, and everybody coming together for the music and all that. That has not changed, and that will never change. And then the part about, the live concert experience, that thing in itself that can't be downloaded, those things can't change. Then the stuff that so much piracy and so much stealing of the music and it changing the way that we have to make ends meet in this business now as opposed to the way we used to. Try to get everything together and a budget together and money together to get the music and take it around the world to the people. Much different factors playing part here to make that happen. So I'm learning those still since our band is... since Mike Newshock joined in February, that makes us about a 6-month-old band. So things are moving quickly, and the internet and all that social media stuff is still very new to me.
Now, obviously, getting back out there as well, how do you find, have the audiences sort of changed in a lot of ways as far as reactions to certain bands? I mean, I've obviously been overseas a few times as well, seeing festivals and lots of other different sort of experiences with music, and... sometimes you watch Slayer and people sometimes just stand there. I mean, I've asked Tom Araya that. I've gone, what do you see from where you're standing? The audience has changed, and of course he says they're younger, but I don't know if you think that if there's a new hunger for younger fans, do they react the way they did when you used to play, obviously, in the early years of Metallica? How do you sort of view the generation changes of, I guess, reactions at live shows?
Yeah, as time has gone by, certainly like with any genre or anything in music or entertainment or whatever in our civilization, people get desensitized to certain stuff. They have to have more to thrill them. When Alice Cooper first came out with his stuff, people were freaking the hell out. Now, since Marilyn Manson got a hold of it and Dillinger Escape Plan and Gwar and everybody got a hold of it, we're not, it takes a lot more to kind of go, oh, look, a snake. It takes a lot more to thrill people now in that way. Also, the new generations that are coming up, I think they feel very entitled to things, and they're also not by any of their own fault. They're conditioned to an instant gratification type of vibe, type of atmosphere, with an instant thumbs up or an instant thumbs down. And so they don't really give things a chance anymore, and so they have to be thrilled right away. I can't see how you couldn't be thrilled by Slayer instantaneously. That fucking takes a little bit for me to understand, because still, even to this day, I've known them guys for 30 years, and they still crush my head every time. So, I still get excited every time that comes down. I can't explain everybody that's just standing there. Maybe it's drugs. But, for the most part, what I witnessed in the last 60 or 70 days as I traveled around, played in 17 countries in these last 60 days, and as far as I'm concerned, the world is in much better shape than I thought it was, and especially the metal world is in better shape than I thought it was. Better shape in Europe than it is in the U.S., but it's still in good shape. And our metal family, has grown into quite a contingency. And so I say it every day from the stage, too, that I'm just so proud to see what we've grown into. And how it's, we've kept it alive, and it is us. It's part of us. We're part of it. It's up to us to keep it alive in that way. There's no other music or style of music where the fans are as much a part of what takes place, that they're willing to stand waist deep in the mud to see their favorite bands and that kind of shit. Country fans are very, very loyal and everything, but they're not going to stand waist deep in the mud to see Travis Tritt. Sorry, there's not.
Now, obviously, let's talk a bit about heavy metal music. Of course, the brand new record, just an amazing, unpretentious approach to just, I don't know, you just drive it home incredibly well. I love the record and all its approach, and I think what's so great about it, as I mentioned, with the whole unpretension, that you're not trying to be anything else but yourself, being a fan of old school heavy metal, and I think that's what brings out such an honesty in the music. Did you have any sort of thoughts or, I guess, concerns about people thinking, wow, you're from Metallica previously and other bands, that, you're going to try and come up with something sort of modern or at least groundbreaking, so to speak, when really you're just playing the music you love? How did you feel when you started getting the sort of material together?
You said it with the simpler statement, just playing the music that I love. There really was, and I loved that you said honesty too, because that's what it's about for me, man. Authenticity,
yep.
Genuine approach, human exchange, action-reaction, counterpoint playing, the real thing, volume all the way up, playing in the room together. The real thing, like records used to be made. It has to be kept real like that, because there's so much falseness in the music today. It was so important to me to keep it like that. It was not a difficult thing. I don't want to sound like silly or arrogant or anything in these statements. All I'm saying is that I've been in it for a long, long time, and I've been very fortunate and grateful every day for the privileges that I've had to experience with some great fucking players. I got to hang around some really badasses, and I'm not going to name drop because people already know the people that I've played with,
yep.
and the many, many different styles I've tried over time. But I will say Warren Haynes, Zach Wilde, Devin Townsend, and James Hetfield. So that's some bad motherfuckers. And when I soak it in, I go in like a wide-eyed kid with a sponge for a brain and take in everything I possibly can when I get to hang around with these people. All I had to do was start tapping into the well of my experiences to create these songs. This is the first time in my life that I have formed a band from scratch and tried to write songs top to bottom from scratch. Not just riffs and flotsam and jetsam, the guitar players copy my bass lines, or coming up with bass lines behind Hetfield's things that are already written, or a riff for Misery that becomes a song, or a riff for Blackened that becomes a song. But songs in their entirety, programming the drums, writing the guitar parts, bass parts, vocals, singing my own lyrics, all the way from the get-go. This is the first time in 32 years that I've done that. It was not difficult to open up the top of the well and start tapping in. It just happened. It's the same as painting. I tap into my creative beam from the sky, and the shit falls from the sky. I have the guitar in my hand, and it becomes the songs. I did not say this one's going to be fast, this one's going to be slow, this one's going to be heavy, this is going to be down-tuned, this one's going to be this or that. All I did was just played it, and what came out because of the experiences I've had. All it is a very simple, like bleeding fucking obvious thing. It's the culmination of all of the experiences I've had live in person and the experiences of listening to my teachers and learning from Black Sabbath and Motorhead and Rush. I put them all together, and this is the first sampling, the first hour of tapping that well.
It's a hell of a combination there too. Now let's talk again. I've actually seen quite a number of interviews with you the last couple of months talking about being back out there full fledged with the new band. But one thing I definitely want to commend you on is just the experiences that you've had is something that I'd say majority of the heavy metal planet would not ever endure. And, that can certainly change people in a lot of ways. But I guess from the standpoint of what I'm coming across, that it's definitely kept you in such a grounded sort of place. I mean, especially coming away from that, so to speak. And as you mentioned, being blessed every day. What has sort of kept you on the ground all this time, even after everything that you've achieved so far in your musical career and even your personal life as well?
Family. My family, even though I don't live close to them, I haven't lived close to them for a long time, pretty much all my adult life. But I was raised in the church, and from like very, very faithful type of church-going thing, very much into my family still is, but I did from a young man till about 12 or 14 years old. And it instilled in me certain morals and ethics that the Bible does. And although I don't pay much attention to that anymore, that is still my basis for the decisions I make in my life and right from wrong. And being able to have emotional capacity to deal with things that come at you from all sides and angles in this business. And so that's where I come from with my deepest footing. And then also through time, 23 or 38 years old, I came up with Metallica, and it was a very worldly thing to begin with. And all of the road crew guys are from different countries, and all of those things. I was thrown into the Blue Flames immediately to start traveling the world and learning about the world at a pretty young age when it comes right down to it, at least a very impressive type of age, impressionable type of age. So that's what that all comes from. Between the family thing of my own family and my blood and the family of Metallica teaching me, that's what I would hand that to.
Now, I think I read an interview with you recently about the fact that, of course, making the decision to leave Metallica at that time and knowing that it was the right decision and it's actually cemented you in the place you are right now, again, just remaining completely grounded. Obviously, with some kind of monster sort of movie coming out as it did back then, have you certainly seen a lot of changes in the members yourself from Metallica, and possibly have they maybe been inspired by, your approach to life? I mean, how often do you sort of stay in touch with a couple of those guys?
We don't see each other very much. We are in contact through business stuff, forever. That's just kind of what happens, because of what we've built together. So that's always going to be a part of things. But as far as hanging out with each other, I think it's pretty rare. And I think that our situation now is more of a mutual respect than it ever was before, because of people maybe, I don't know if they're matured or grown up or anything. The calendar went by and they had families, and that gives you a different perspective on appreciating the things in life that are real and valuable and stuff like that. So I think they probably look at our relationship in the past a little bit different and maybe appreciate me in a different way. They certainly have shown a lot more respect when we've been together in the last few years, and I think I've shown them more respect in that way too. So it's a two-way street, and it's, I would say that, I was a fan before I got in. I was a fan when I was in. I'm a bigger fan now that I'm out, because I'm just proud of them for still flying the flag. They still set the standard for this stuff, and just to be able to do that after all these years, man, you got to just stand up and applaud. And I will never speak ill of Metallica. I'll only speak in favor of and defend them till the end of time. They gave me my opportunity to live a dream, and I'll never forget that.
Now let's talk about dreams, of course. We hope that you'll be heading back to Australia sometime, possibly next year. I'm hearing a few rumours of a Soundwave 2014, festival appearance, but again, they're just rumours till proven fact. Are we hopefully going to see Jason Newsted, the band, in Australia in the future?
Oh, yes, my friend. Actually, we're looking at... let's see, what time is my flight? Let's see, I'll be down there about the third week of February.
Okay.
So, and that's, I've agreed to that shit. So whatever else you need besides me telling you that I've agreed to it, I don't know.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. It's damn good news,
Yeah,
too.
we're going to be in Australia for 19 of February through 3 or 4 of March, I think, actually.
Okay, that sounds a little bit familiar.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Well, again, it's an absolute pleasure to be speaking with you again, Jason. And, of course, I really, really dig the record. And, I wish you all the best in everything that you do from here on.
I appreciate that, brother. I really do. And, I got to tell you, Australia was one of the first places I got to go when we talked that they hadn't been ever before. It was Japan and Australia were the only places they really hadn't been at that point.
I was there, man,
And,
May 4th, 89.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, and we talked about it before and stuff.
Yep.
It's just, I have such a place in my heart for that place because it was even like the second time we came there, everybody's already going, legend, mate, legend. That's why I used it on my sound check because that's what everybody always said to me. And I'm like, what the fuck's that all about? And they're like, no, you, mate, you, legend, mate. And I'm like, I've only been here a couple times. What are you talking about? But they already had that kind of respect, and I just kind of, I've always been, got a special place. So I'm jacked up to get back there because I've always been. I know it's going to be fucking mental.
Well, we can get you to choose your favorite track from the NEWSTED album, Heavy Metal Music, and I guess for old time's sake, your favorite Metallica song.
Well, for this week off the NEWSTED record, I'm going with Nocturnus.
Yep.
And for Metallica, I always, my favorite song Metallica is Battery. And so that's, if that's the one you want to play, I always go back and forth between Battery and Fight Fire because those are always my favorite ones to play because they're such a challenge every time to play. So, but if I got to pick one, it's got to be Battery.
All right, locked in. All right, we'll look forward to seeing you in the not-so-distant future, Jason.
Right on. Thanks for your help, man.
No worries. Let's check out some NEWSTED and Metallica now on andrewhaug.com.